Yes, welcome. And if you're also catching this on replay, welcome as well. My name is Ligia. So I'm a consistency coach and an action strategist for entrepreneurs. I help entrepreneurs create a consistent mindset routine and the structure to stick to it with habit conditioning, organizational tools, and everything they need in terms of mindset work and organization so they can move forward and grow their business with alignment, with purpose, no overwhelm, and all the good stuff. So let me just make sure that you guys can hear me. Yeah, I think this is good. Let me know if you have any problems, and let's get started. So today I'm here to talk to you about prioritizing your tasks. So how to organize your to-do list in a way that it's easy for you to stay on top of everything that you have going on. I know that often we feel like we have too much to handle, right? And like we have all this stuff going on and too many tasks, too many tabs open, and it feels like we just have tasks piling up one after the other, and that feeling like you're always behind, like there's always much more left to be done and you're just playing catch up. So also, side note, leave comments as you go if you want to mention anything. We're going to have a little Q&A after, but feel free to leave comments, questions, and that way I can read and we can talk as we go. But yes, let me know if that resonates with you, if this is something that you've experienced. So that feeling like there's just too much and too much to do and too many tasks, and you kind of don't know where to start or what to do to follow through. So a structure to make it easy for you to stay on top of everything that you have going on and feel like it's easy to do so. So we can get started. This is what we'll cover today. So where goals and tasks start, things that you might not know about planning. So planning your tasks, organizing your tasks, and misconceptions there. Then how we can leverage intention setting so you can stay on top of your goals and your tasks. Then I'll show you the 4 squares method. That is a really effective way to structure your to-do list. And then we'll have a few minutes for Q&A. So space here for you to join, ask your questions, and then we can chat better. So I'll leave this screen here so you can follow where we're going until we go to the 4 squares method, okay? And yeah, leave me any comments if you have any questions, and let's get started. So, well, the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is where goals and tasks start. Right? So you have these goals, you have these tasks, you might have this strategy, this action plan that ends up with that daily or weekly to-do lists. And so the actual tasks that you have on your plate. But I would like to take a step back and really take you to the start. So where are these goals coming from? Because, and I just feel like this is the perfect timing to talk about this, because New Year, we're getting towards the end of the year. When we think New Year, what is the first thing that we think about is New Year's resolutions. So we have new goals, we have new resolutions, and I feel like this is the perfect timing to take a step back and really plan from a place of alignment. So this would be my first topic for today, is alignment. And let me explain better what I mean. But you know, when we have these goals, so we have these goals on paper that sound nice, that sound great and all, and let's say it's something financial. So let's say you want to start bringing in those 10K consistent months or whatever that looks like for you. And you know, that looks good on paper, and you would say, of course, consistent 10K months, why wouldn't I want something like that? That sounds amazing. But if you're not really in alignment with that goal, so if your mindset is not really aligned with that goal, if your belief system is not really aligned. So if you don't believe that you're capable, if you don't see that as doable or easy, or yourself as worthy of having that goal achieved. So if your belief system and your conditioning is not aligned with that goal, you might act from a place of disalignment, unalignment, lack of alignment, whatever you want to call it. But it's that feeling when you have a goal on paper, but it just doesn't translate. So you're always acting and it feels a bit off. So you're acting from that place of not really on the same page with the thing that you want to achieve. So it's, that might be when you have something on paper, you have a goal, and you feel like you're doing, but you're still not getting anywhere, or you're still not getting close enough to that goal. So you know that feeling when a goal is kind of just a goal and you're not really acting in alignment with that. So that's the first thing. And there's a lot to discuss here. Maybe this can be a topic for a different webinar. So that belief system and your whole mindset around your goals. And this is something that I go in depth with my clients. So how mindset work can support you in moving forward towards your goals. But this is a good place to start planning. So planning from a place of alignment. And one way you can get started is picture that best version of yourself, right? So some call it your higher self, your most aligned self, that best version of you. And depending on, the approach of coaching or book or author, there are many names to call it. But what I mean is picture that version of you that already has this thing accomplished. So if your goal is financial, let's go back to the 10K months. If your goal is consistent 10K months, picture that version of you that already makes consistent 10K months. If your goal is signing 3 new clients, so picture that version of you that already has these 3 clients. And picture her or him in depth. And picture that person, what they say, how they act, where they hang out, how they show up, how they take action, how they will respond in a certain situation. What would they say to a certain person? How would they respond in front of a certain trigger? So all these things, and really tuning to that version of you. So the version that already has it. By doing that, you're starting to reprogram neural pathways and subconscious beliefs. So you're telling your subconscious to tune into that version. So you start little by little to reprogram your old conditioning, your autopilot. And this is all things that we talked about on my previous webinar that I'm sure you can go back and check out. So how we can tune into that mindset, tuning to that headspace and that belief system that supports you. So you're tuning into that version of you that already has this thing. So it feels less of a goal that you need to create, something that you need to achieve, and more of something that you already have, and you already have what it takes. So you're just tuning into that mindset so you can allow this thing to come with less effort because you're acting from that place of alignment, if that makes sense. So mindset work is a really complex theme that we can go a lot in depth, but this is what I want to leave you with. So planning from that place of alignment, meaning how you can act, what you can believe, how you can see your challenges, your opportunities, the situation, but how you can perceive this reality, and most importantly, perceive this goal from a place of alignment. So it doesn't feel like you have this goal on paper, but you're kind of lying to yourself. You know what I mean? When you say, I want to make this much money, and then you tell yourself this and it feels like almost a lie, or it feels like too big of a stretch, or you're not really on board with the idea. So take a step back and really tune into the person that already has it. So what does that person believe to be true about this goal? I'm sure that if it's a financial goal, This person that already has it might look at the 10K months and believe that, of course, it's possible. She has it already. So it's doable, it's natural. She's able to, she knows how to, she has the resources. So that might be how this person looks at this goal. The version of you that already has it looks at the same goal. And this is where we want to start to tune into to that version of yourself and the belief system and her whole mindset around it. So we start acting from alignment. And this is so important so we don't end up taking action by action's sake. You know what I mean? So when we're just doing things by the sake of doing because they are tasks and there's just so much to do and we're doing, but I want you to stop and ask yourself if the things that you're doing, so the tasks, the things that you're planning, the things that you have on your to-do list, if they are really aligned with that version of you. So with who you want to be, with where you want to go, where you want to be, the things that you want to attract, and all that. So I want you to take a step back and start planning from your goals. So setting the goals first, picturing that version of yourself already that has the whole thing, that feels like you want to feel, that experience the things that you want to experience, tuning to that version, that higher self. And from there, see what are the things that matter to you. So what are your actual goals? Where do you want to be? What do you want to experience? And from that, you start to break it down, build a strategy, break it down into action steps, and you end up with the actual to-do list, which is what we're working on today. So I want you to have that to-do list from a place of alignment. So you're only working on the tasks that make sense and they're actually moving you forward. So you're not just doing things all over the place and doing, and then you realize later on that you might be working on things that might not be taking you forward, right? Might not be helping you get closer to those goals, or might be going in a different direction. That when you stop and take a look at that end result, so that higher version of yourself, the person you want to be, where you want to go, the whole ideal scenario, right? When you picture that, it might be that the tasks you do today are not really taking you there, are not really aligned. So this is a great place to start, is just reflect on the alignment, reflect on who you want to be, where you want to go, and break it down from there. So the goals and tasks start from a place of full alignment and purpose. So that takes me to point number 2, and I'll just take a moment here to see if I have any questions from you guys. So I make sure I reply to you. Well, I don't think we do. So, okay, great. So we can get started. We can keep going, sorry. Just wanted to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So that takes me to point number 2, which might be the things you don't know about planning, right? And just a second, guys, sorry, because I feel I got a notification that someone is trying to join. So let me see if I can allow something here. Well, that looks okay. So, sorry, and we can get back. Okay, perfect. So point number 2, and the things you might not know about planning. So, right, first of all is planning from the place of alignment to make sure that you're doing the stuff that matters. You're not just getting caught up in the action that kind of takes up all your time, but might not necessarily be the tasks that help you move forward and get where you want to get. And then when you think about that, you go, okay, great. So I'll pay attention, I'll focus on my alignment, and now I'll start planning. And then you start listing all these things, right? You start connecting to that goal, connecting to that version of you, and you think of all these things that need to be done. So all the room that you have there for action, and you start planning. planning, and you start listing the projects, the ideas, the things that you have to do, the steps to get there, and all these things. And I wanted to take a pause. I wanted to take a pause here. And I want to tell you one thing that you might not know about planning that we often get wrong. And that is, planning doesn't mean micromanaging all the steps. It doesn't mean having all the steps figured out. It doesn't mean mapping out every step of the way that you will have to take, every task, every person that you will have to talk to, every thing that you'll have to publish, every pricing on your business that you'll have to adjust. It doesn't mean having all the steps figured out. That's the whole thing about planning. Planning means having a direction. So the whole point of you planning and mapping out an action plan, a strategy, and breaking those down into the tasks that actually go on your to-do list. The whole point is to give you a direction, right? To make sure to give you guidance, to make sure that you're going in the right direction, that direction of alignment, so that you're still going where you want to go. So you're moving towards that place that you want to get. But that doesn't mean having all the little steps and details figured out. You don't have to anticipate all the things, all the steps, all the obstacles, all the tasks. You don't have to map out either everything that will need to get done to get there. And I say this because, and let me know if this is something that you've also experienced, but I say that because when you have a big goal, right? So let's say you have this big thing that you want to accomplish. And in the Q&A, I'll ask, what are your goals? So I want you to tell me, start thinking about it so we can chat about it more by the end. I'll want you to tell me more about what you want to achieve. But if you have those big goals, right, and you have these income goals, these clients, these things that you want to launch, this freedom that you want to achieve, and all these things, they might feel like a bit of a stretch because you don't have them yet and you want to have them. So of course you go from where you are and you think about where you want to get. Of course there's room there, there's a gap there. That's where you want to act. But if you get caught up in the space, so on the gap that is there, you will acknowledge that there's a lot to be done. And you might get caught up in the, okay, there's a lot to be done. There's a lot of work. I'm not there yet. And by focusing on that gap, you might try to go and overcompensate, with planning a lot of things. And that might translate into having a structure, a huge plan, strict, with a lot of things involved and a lot of categories and stages and phases to it. And that might make you feel like you're preparing well because you're anticipating and planning out a lot of things to take you from point A, where you are, to point B, where you want to get. But, and tricky thing here, what happens is that might get you a bit frozen almost, right? When you look at this thing and it sounds like a lot of work. Or you map it all out, and then it looks like this huge project, this huge thing that you're gonna have to start working on the new year, and you're ready to run out of breath. And you go, whoa, okay, I got some work here. And that requires a lot more effort. So a lot more conscious effort from your side than if you have a lighter plan that still moves you in the right direction. So it's giving you guidance, it's giving you direction, it's helping you not lose sight and move forward with a structure, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. So it feels easy. You look at your to-do list and you see that you have 3 things to do today, 3 key things. Or you look at your weekly tasks and you see that you have 2 main things to get done. And those are the key steps to get you closer to your goals. They might be 1, 2, just a couple of things here, key things on your day, on your to-do list weekly, maybe your monthly tasks, but they are less but more, right? So they might look less, they might look like a lighter strategy, But what they do is when you look at them, you feel automatically better. And you feel, okay, I have 2 tasks. I have 2 things to get done. Of course I can do them. And that makes you feel easier. It makes you feel easier. It makes you feel more at ease about what you have on your plate. It feels less overwhelming, more manageable. And then you might not have that urge to run away or avoid or take a deep breath because this is going to be a struggle and a lot of work. There's no need for that. You look down in your to-do list for the day in the morning and you feel, okay, that's perfectly manageable. I have 2 things, right? And notice how that feels different from when you open your agenda and you have 20 freaking things to do and all these pending tasks and things piling up, and you think, okay, and I have all this today, but I have all that tomorrow and then next week and then all this thing. We don't want to panic. Planning is supposed to help you, not make you feel more overwhelmed. So when you plan out your tasks and you structure an action plan, a to-do list, when you're thinking about your tasks, they're not supposed to feel like a lot of things to do, a lot of effort and all these things to accomplish. No, on the contrary, they're supposed to be guidance and key steps here and there to just make sure that you are on track, that you get stuff done in an aligned manner and you're moving forward, right? So it's not about micromanaging all the steps. So I wanted to look at the to-do list that you have now, might be in front of you or just in your head, the things that you think that you need to do today and the things that you already know that you will have to get done before the end of the week. And just notice if they are detailed, if they are the steps, means to an end, maybe they are part of the process, or if they are the key things, the key steps that will move you forward. And think about that. So reflect if there's any change that you might do on your to-do list, so you focus more on the key steps rather than the details, because the details are part of it and you will get them done regardless. So when you focus on a key step, you're acting, you're taking action, you're working towards the key steps, which means that you will do the work anyways, but you're not planning those tiny steps. You will get them done because you're just part of the process. It's natural that you're going to have to get them done, but you don't have to open your agenda at 7 a.m. and look at all those things, because that creates that feeling of overwhelm that we're trying to eliminate. And that takes me to the third point, which is intention setting. Intention setting, if you're not familiar with mindset work, is a huge practice that can benefit you so much, because you get to set an intention. You get to decide how you're going to feel about your day, your tasks, your projects. You get to decide how you're going to act, how you're going to show up, what it's going to feel like, because that's mindset work, right? That's inner work. That's, you get to decide how you see your tasks, the things around you, your situation, your challenges, opportunities. That's up to you. And what happened is that we often just run on autopilot and go on automatic mode, getting triggered by, the small things, or just going there. You kind of take a step back, you just sit down, you sit back, relax, and let the autopilot run the show. So your old conditioning, your triggers, your old programming, how you're used to react in given situations, and you just kind of sit back and let it go. And you're just there, following, right? But you're not really taking charge. When you just stop and say, you know what? I decide that this is how I will see the situation. I decided today I will show up like this. I will be mindful. I will remain calm. I will bring myself back if I get overwhelmed, or whatever that looks like for you. But you get to set an intention. And again, that's another huge topic that might be one for a different webinar, mindset work and intention setting. But I just wanted to touch on intention setting specifically for your to-do list. And that might look like just you taking a moment in the morning when you open your to-do list, and before getting to work, so before getting to the actual work, you just decide to take a moment and set an intention, right? You're visualizing, you're tuning into that frequency, that mindset, that headspace. You don't have to take 30 minutes of meditation or do anything like that. But by stating a clear intention of how you want these things to go, how you want your day to go, how you want to show up for these tasks that you have on your list, you're sending a clear message to your subconscious. So you're shifting your focus there and sending a clear message to your subconscious that that is important. This is important information. So by being part of your attention now, by your focus being on this new thing, your new intention, every little thing throughout your day that is close to that intention will come to your awareness. And let me give you an example. If you say that today you will be calm and you will not panic and get overwhelmed, you will bring yourself back to calm if you need to. So, okay, you set that intention, you connect to that, you let it go, and you go about your day. What happens is that that calm, that focus on the calm is there in the back of your mind. You might have moments that you will panic. We're humans. We might have moments that you won't feel calm, but because you set an intention, when that happens, your subconscious will go back to that intention. It will remind you that, wait a second, you set an intention that you would feel calm, you would bring yourself back. So the moment you start to stray away from that feeling of calm, it will be easier for you to go back because it's in your awareness. You brought that into your awareness. Maybe on a different day, without taking a moment and setting that intention, you would just spiral it down from, on panic mode and not even realize or get caught up in the middle. But since you set an intention, when that happens, you're more likely to stop and remember. You might struggle a bit still in the beginning to bring yourself back, and that's perfectly fine, but it's already into your awareness. So you get to decide how these things are going to go. One that I love to work on myself and with clients is an intention of, I allow it to be easy. I allow it to be easy. So sometimes we have a lot of hard work because we expect it to be hard. We say that this will be hard work, and hard work deserves success. So I need to leave tears, blood, and sweat on the table and struggle because that means that I will succeed. And you expect it to be hard. You expect to do hard work. And that idea, right? Now, when you set intention that you allow it to be easy, maybe things flow a little better, a little easier, a little lighter. So leverage intention setting. Tune your mindset into how you want your day to go, how you want these tasks and these things to evolve, right? You get to leverage mindset work for your practical work as well. Mindset work is not a separate thing in mindfulness, meditation, energy work, this whole inner thing that we think about mindset work, and then there's actual work. And then there's the actual tasks and projects and things. No, it doesn't have to be like that. You can leverage and use mindset work in the practical side. So let's go to the 4 squares method. I hope this is clear. So you come from alignment, you think about planning from a different standpoint. So you come from alignment, you don't have to plan all the single little details. You get to just structure a guideline, guidance, a direction, have fewer key steps. You set an intention, so you're leveraging mindset work to make the most out of your to-do list. And then let's get to the practical side. Having said that, I'll show you the 4 square method. And if this is something that you want to take note, if you have a piece of paper by your side and you want to draw the 4 squares also on your paper so we can do them together. And then I'll explain what they mean. So grab your little piece of paper, draw these 4 squares. And then we will start with the 4 categories. The first one at the top, urgent. Then we have not urgent. And on the rows, you can see that we have not important and important. And then I can explain you what they mean. So important and not important is about that alignment. And that's why I wanted you to think about how aligned your tasks are with your goals and that higher version of yourself, because that's what we're gonna organize here. Important and not important doesn't mean relevant. A task can be relevant, which means that it might bring some value. It's legit, it's there, it's valuable, it's relevant, it can bring some benefits, but is it aligned with that goal? Is it important for that goal? If your goal is the income, the signing clients, launching a new thing, publishing this new book, or whatever that is for you, but think about that goal and look at the tasks that you have. Is this task important for that goal? Or is it something completely unrelated? There will be space for the unrelated and all the other things that pop up, because they do, and we know, so there will be space for those. But now it's time to think of the tasks that are important for those goals. Not important in general, not relevant, but in alignment with those goals. That way we start to plan and put down your to-do list the tasks that are moving you forward and not only taking up your time. When you feel like you're just doing and not going anywhere? Could it be that you're just spending more time on tasks that, yes, they're tasks, yes, that they can be done, there's room for them, they are relevant, but are they really important for the thing that you want to accomplish? That might be why you feel like you do, but you don't get closer to your goal. Because of course, you might be working on the things that are not important for that goal. You might be working on the not important tasks, right? So I want you to take a moment and look at the tasks that you have already or the ones that you will plan for the new year. And first of all, put them into these 2 categories. Are they important for those goals? Are they not important, right? And then we go from there. We move to urgent and not urgent. So from the tasks that are important for those goals, which ones have to get done now, in the very near future? Which ones are not? It might be that you also have tasks that you identify are important for your goals. They're important pieces, they will move you closer, so they are in alignment, but they might not be for now. So move them to the not urgent, important, not urgent. You will get to them. You will have time to work on them. But when we forget to just split those 2 categories, you might schedule and put things down on paper, pending things, pending tasks, to-do list, my checklist, and you start listing all these things, that gets you overwhelmed. That gets you back to that feeling of there's too much to do. Of course, you might be focusing on there's just too much to do in general until you get to that goal. That's not important now. We want to focus on the important and urgent. So then you break down and you get to work on one thing at a time. But you also don't lose sight of the next things that will be important because you just have them in the next square. So that way you see that you start to create a structure that is already the order of your to-do list. By categorizing your tasks by the alignment that they are in with your goals, and then how urgent they are, you avoid just putting pending stuff on your to-do list that is just gonna create a mess and that feeling of overwhelm and feel like a lot if they don't have to get done now. Or it also avoids that you get caught up in all the other stuff that, yes, is stuff to do, but might not be making a difference regarding your goals. So that way we work from alignment and priority. This is what this is. This 4 squares method makes sure that you work from alignment, important, not important, and priority. So then you have a clear system. So I hope you had time to draw yours as well. And this is what it looks like. This, when you put one exercise that might be helpful is to just put the tasks on Post-its and just take a sheet of paper, draw the 4 squares and put the tasks on Post-its. And then you can move the Post-its around. You can move them, you can list them all on the first square, realize that some can go to the second, realize that some can move to the third, and you get to move them around. Then from there, you might open your phone or your agenda and then put in that order your final to-do list. But this is the order that you would follow. So from 1, 2, 3, and 4, from important and urgent, important, not urgent, not important, but still urgent, and not important, not urgent. So you might worry about tasks that are here on number 3. They are not important. So you might say, when we are talking about the tasks that are in alignment with your goals, the tasks that move you closer to your goals. And you might think, yes, but I still have all that other stuff. There's still other things that need to be done, even if they're not necessarily getting me closer to my goals, but all the little things, right? They are urgent. They're not important. They might be urgent. And see, there is still space for them. But this way you follow a structure that is purposeful. You're not just doing. You're following something that gets you closer to the things you want to achieve. So these are the things you do. These are the ones that you can schedule. These are the ones that you can delegate ideally. If you cannot, if this is something that can only be done now by you, they're not important, they're urgent, and you are the only person that can do them. And here we're talking more about business, but that can translate to personal tasks as well. If you cannot delegate, then you can just do them as the second, right? So after the important, urgent, you can also do them. Delegate can also be delegate to a different moment. To you, delegate to yourself in an hour. It doesn't mean delegating to a different person. Ideally, it is. But if you're the only person able to do so, then delegate this to a near future version of you. Delegate this to Roser, to Ligia, to Demonte of 4 p.m., right? But you're still keeping that thought process of delegating. So you don't feel like you have to get them done yourself and now, which would be number 1. And that might take a lot of depression and overwhelm already. Number 4 would be the tasks that you can delete. Is this really important? If it's not getting you closer and it's not urgent, delete, or at least delete from today. You can still do them. You can still revise, review them next morning and maybe schedule them in again. But it might not be necessarily something to add on your to-do list for this Tuesday, for this week, right? So I encourage you to keep track of all the tasks that you think of. So brainstorming, right? If you have Post-its, if you have a page on your agenda, a list on your phone, a space to brainstorm, so you can just do, brain dump and put all the things in paper and write down all the things that you can think of, all the tasks that will need to get done and all that. So you get it out of your system. You don't feel like these things are there, pending, waiting. You're there, they're there. They're there for whenever you need them. You can go back to them. So they are there. And you can always go back and review to see if you can schedule some of them in following this structure. This might build your to-do list for today, so for this Tuesday, and it might be that you delete a few. Delete doesn't mean that you never think of them again. They can just go to your brainstorming list. Maybe tomorrow or next week you go back and now it makes more sense. Maybe now they're more urgent. Maybe now, you found an approach that they feel more in alignment. So you can go back and schedule them again or delegate, So you can always go back to them. Do not feel like just because things will need to get done at some point by someone that they need to go down on paper and have that feeling, create that feeling of, a lot of things to do and to do now. It's not. Tasks are there, you're keeping track of them, you can always go back to them. And that way, with that structure, it will allow you to move faster, smoother, more at ease, with less overwhelm. So you'll see that you can actually go through the 1, 2, 3, 4 way faster and way better. So you can go back to your brainstorming list and pick new ones than you would if you would just have the ones from the brainstorming list all together on one huge checklist, and then you kind of don't know where to go, and it's just too many things, right? And you're not prioritizing, you're not using categories, you're not thinking about the alignment, you just have that huge list. That might take you a month to get through all of those if you do. Well, if you just put some on pause, work on a few with this structure, you might go through the cycle 5 times and go over the whole brainstorming list way faster. So this is a way to take a step back, use categories, use prioritizing, and move forward with purpose. So you can ask anything. Let me know your goals. If you have any questions, we have a few minutes here for a little Q&A. So let me know if I can see you here on the chat. If not, you can just unmute yourself if you want to ask anything. So Diamante, Roser, if you're catching the replay here and if you're not joining us live, this is where you can find me and you can still ask if you have any questions, any concerns, feedback, if you want to share what your to-do list looks like or go deeper in the mindset work. This is where you can find my Facebook group, Instagram, my email. If you want to copy this and contact me, I'd love to stay in touch. And let me know. So what are your questions? What are your goals? What does your to-do list look like now? And what made you join this webinar today? So what about your to-do list made you come and want to work on it? And then let me see if I can help you. I hope this was helpful. I hope it gives you that structure so you can move forward and we don't feel like it's a lot of work, because it's not. You can leverage mindset work, you can decide, you get to decide what it feels like. You get to decide that you will feel at ease, that you will feel good. And we often lose sight of this and we just keep going. Okay, guys, so I think that's it. Again, if you have any questions, if something pops up during the week, don't hesitate to message me. You can find me online here. And that's it. Thank you very much for joining. This was fun for me. I hope it was for you. And talk to you soon. Have a great day and a great rest of the week. Bye-bye now.